Rolling. 5, 4,
Right.
3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1, and we are back with the 811
Darling,
crew. Thanks,
save
y'all.
me overtime for
We
me.
know that you are not
I
a
just had the
crooner.
glass night moment.
Okay, all right.
Save the
Okay,
overtime for me.
okay. Are you ready?
We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
And we have some
We are
exciting
back.
topics to talk about today. And what
Yes.
we're going to talk about now, this is a good one. Now, they're all good, but this is some really interesting. There's a lot of different opinions on this. And the question that we want to know and talk about now is, can men and women truly be platonic friends? Like, is that possible? Is this elusive? Like how do you become friends?
And also, can they be platonic friends after they've smashed?
Oh, yes, that is key. Right. Can you come back to the platonic
friends,
after
yeah.
the get down?
Right. Even if does it take years, men, we stayed friends, so and so.
And then further, and then another thing I want to get into also, if we have time on this, is the makeup of friends. Like, I'm just going to put it out there, okay? Like, I have friends that are women and friends that are men, but I feel some type of way, forgive me, please, I'm a 52-year-old man. I feel some type of way about guys who say that their bestie is a girl. And even the other way around, like a girl who says my bestie is a guy. I just never believe for real.
Bestie,
we can talk about that. That's how I feel. I said it.
Because
so how do we want to start this? Do we want to talk about the platonic in there? Or do we want to talk about the thing?
Well,
you tell us. Get into
let's
it.
talk about platonic. Because, so I have a series of platonic female friends, literally platonic. Some I've known since junior high school. There's some I've known since college. There's some I've met from work. We've worked together and we became friends, and nothing has ever happened. I mean, literally nothing.
That's how many.
I literally do. There's a group of female friends that I am platonic friends with that we have seen each other biblically. So, and it's
biblically, Quranically, Torahly.
But we're just, but we're just,
I don't mean to blaspheme.
But we're just friends. Like, it doesn't even cross. Like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. Like, I've even know their husbands, things like that.
Now, that said, though, are you suggesting that whenever you see the old joint that is married that you see, you never think about that time that y'all was naked?
No, because it's like putting on yesterday's underwear.
Okay, that ride home from sometime.
No, if I stopped sleeping with you, there was a reason. It's like I always say, like, I don't go back.
You're trying to say all things have a shelf life.
It's like there's a reason why, but I think we are cool friends. Like, I'm actually friends with all the serious girlfriends I've had from college, high school. We are still friends.
You know what? That is interesting, Slugger. That is something that we have on the 811 tip. I don't think we talked about. I don't think we've ever talked about that. I am the same way. I literally feel like I can say that I cannot think of anybody that I dated seriously that meant something to me in my life that I am not absolutely still cool with. That's something special. That's unique.
And if they're married, I'm respectful of their husbands. That's the first thing. I think the thing is, you have to be respectful. If that person's in a relationship, you have to be respectful of that person's relationship.
But doesn't it matter, like, how also the get down was a little bit? I'm just asking, like, if it, like, because sometimes, like, what, there's not any of your girlfriends you look at and you're like, yo, that girl was wild, yo. I know that dude is like, I don't know, man. Am I going? I mean, you from Ohio? I know it's more conservative out there.
No, let me think. You know what? I probably do, but one thing about me, I put those thoughts in the back of my mind, so that I don't have to remember, like, but probably if I think about it, like, oh, yeah. But a lot of them aren't in relationships. So, But I'm but the ones that are even, if we didn't smash, we did smash. If they're in a relationship, I'm very respectful of the relationship. I'm respectful of the husband, boyfriend, which you should be.
Have you ever had a situation where y'all was cool, you smashed, you went away, and then you came back and smashed again? Does that ever happen? Does a re-smash ever happen? I mean, time.
Yeah, that's definitely happened.
Is re-smash? Is that something? I mean, is that?
Yeah,
Okay. That's happened.
I've definitely had a re-smash. Definitely. Definitely.
Well, I feel like one of the things that's
But
really
that's
key,
usually like because I moved, like something moved or.
But don't you think that one of the key, the way that you maintain friendships or relationships, it comes down to honesty, right?
Yeah.
Like anybody who you ever lied to them, just told them that the sky was blue when it was raining. I can imagine that those could be things that could be tough to keep because they might look at you as a liar. No, I mean.
Oh yeah. Look, I never. Yeah, I wasn't a. Yeah, like I always say, I was never a hoe. I just had hoe tendencies.
Ah, wow,
So,
wow.
right.
Okay.
Right. So.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Uh-oh.
I need clarification on
Okay,
that.
we
What
have-
does that mean?
Okay, so I have friends that were hoes. So if I happen to be there with them,
Yes,
that's
but
how
see,
you had the hoe
stop. You are not
tendencies.
answering the question. Sydney, correct me if I'm wrong. She asked you to define what is hoism and
Well,
can you put
like-
some? Can you put that in context for us?
So like if you have a friend who just has a ton of chicks, so what happens if you're with them, you kind of absorb some of their habits.
I hope y'all paying attention.
So
this
that's
is in
what
the
means-
category of Ulysses knows everything. Like I really want to
So
make sure
that's
y'all
what the
pay
whole
attention here.
tendencies. Like
Okay.
I don't consider even from college, I'm not known as a hoe. I just had friends that were.
Oh, okay.
So I just had hoe tendencies.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
So
Go ahead. What you got?
I'm
to say?
sorry, I have another question. So if a woman likes to have sex, but she's like one of your buddies, she's smart, she's
yeah, she should.
So if she likes to have sex and she's had a lot of sex, is she a hoe?
No, I don't
If
think
a
that at
woman
all.
Probably not.
dates
I don't
more
think
than
that
one
at all.
man, because men, you all can date
I
more
don't-
than one
This
woman.
is getting
yeah,
good.
but
Right.
I don't
Ask
think-
that.
Wait.
Ask that
I
question.
don't think
You
that
all
at
can
all.
date more than one woman.
I think
and
women should-
sleep with more than one woman.
I think
but
women
if a
should-
woman
First
sleeps
of all,
with
that's
more
just
than
allegedly. I mean,
That's-
that's never.
one, I'm not saying you all in general.
Right,
I'm just saying men in
right.
general.
Okay.
But I'm just saying. But
I had
if a
sex when I
woman,
got married, and we only had sex to procreate.
that's because you won't say her name anyway. But
Right.
so
Ever.
what I think is that a woman that likes to have sex and sleeps with a couple guys at a time, that's when they call her a hoe.
You should have a rotation.
But then how would how would
they
anybody know that?
Right.
Like who's gonna say
Who are you
that? Don't
telling? What,
think
you put
there's
on
some-
Facebook?
Like in fact, we used to say loose lips sink
Sink
ships.
ships.
That's you whatever.
Right. Like stop telling.
Don't stop talking. That's it.
You all talk to each other.
Oh,
Right,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, like,
Yeah,
yeah, like,
stop
yeah.
talking. Like that's the
Like,
key.
why
Don't
would-
lie
like,
and,
if you have
and
a-
extra information.
If you have a
sometimes be too
friend
much.
that you think is judgmental, why would you tell her in the first place? Like she's not having fun.
But I do feel like, to Sydney's point, though, don't you agree, though, there is somewhat of a difference in the framework.
Oh, yeah.
In general, I agree with you, Sydney. If a dude is like, oh yeah, I'm smashing this chick and then I'm going over here, whatever. That is really not. That's not news. That's not newsworthy, if you
That's
will.
true. Yeah,
But
no
if
one's-
but if we were standing around drinking and a lady was sitting there talking about, oh yeah, I smashed this dude and then I got another
Right,
dude
you're
tonight
like,
and I met this other
well,
one
no,
tomorrow,
but
I'd be like, damn,
You-
okay, player.
Yeah, like that's cool. All right, now I know. All right.
Right.
This is- now your mind's thinking like, okay, so she's cool.
Right.
All right.
Are you thinking,
She's
boy, I
fun.
want to date her though?
Right now.
Are you saying are you calling her a hoe or hoe
No.
tendencies, or is just
No, I'm just saying. The problem is, I would never want to be with my friends who had been with her.
oh
that
you
would
wouldn't
be the-
want to be with your friends who had been with her?
Yeah, I
Okay.
wouldn't. Yeah, so just to say, if she dated a series of dudes, I wouldn't want to find out like, oh, I slept with Jason as well. Like that, I'd be like, oh, okay.
Like yeah, I boned your boy.
Yeah, but yeah.
Sydney,
I'm sorry, just
you
because
really have some real interest points.
because
We've
you
hit
all-
another nerve.
because you men just
what
don't
do you
understand.
think?
Again, there are only a certain number of black men who have a W-2 and a car and
our
are
house.
and have sense. And out of those, most times you've probably slept with someone that in college especially. My girlfriends, we laugh about it. One in particular.
College doesn't count. Like we've been out of college long
college
enough.
a long time. Like,
Yeah, it doesn't count.
that's another.
right.
That's another podcast.
That's yeah.
Let's stay current. Let's
anything
stay in
20 years
half
later,
century.
you
Yeah,
completely
But go back. But I want you to stay on that, Cindy, please, from an adult standpoint. Like, let's speak up to us, not in college, but in the modern.
In the modern world? Yeah. So, you'll see somebody and they're like, oh, yeah, I dated him. Oh, really? I dated him too. It's common.
But is it a problem when is it women? Do you feel like there's a difference
Only
between
if it
black women, white, or
overlaps.
just women? Period.
Oh, I don't know what white women do.
Okay,
I'm just
But
talking
why
about my
would- I
friends.
don't know why it would be a difference.
It's not a difference. But I
Y'all would know more than me.
I will say this. So when I first got divorced, so I went out with this girl. So I told my boy. So the first thing he said was that we used to go out. And I'm like, okay. And first of all, I'm Ulysses, so all right. But I was like, nah, that's gonna be awkward. So I pulled away because of that. Like I thought, like it's awkward. Like, I just think it makes it awkward, and I never want to be in an awkward place ever, like where they have a joke and I don't know about it, or they're like, "Oh yeah, remember that?" You're like, "No,
that wasn't me.
That wasn't me. That was a different Kappa." So that's the thing, that's the whole thing to, but.
But now the friends piece. I mean, but back in general, under what circumstance are you only platonic friends? So, for instance, now my biggest example of this right now, of why I believe that friends can be platonic, even if even if you've had a sexual relationship, I believe that friends can still be platonic.
Yeah, you can.
In
Yeah.
any way, like for instance, the bike club that we're
Bike
in,
club, right?
Saturday bike crew. And I'm gonna tell you what, we got some fine.
Yeah, some very nice women.
in our
Yeah,
bike club.
yes.
Yes,
Just
you do. Yes, you do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it does happen. It just so happens that if you are exercising regularly, we talked about this. We'll have to talk about this more. People who exercise, they're active. You have a glow and energy, and not just in shape. Folks in our bike crew are like
I actually think
have high energy, in shape, and look great.
I
and are
actually,
fun.
I actually think I've matured. Let me just be crystal clear. So when I was probably in my 20s and 30s, I would have been like, oh, but now that I have a girlfriend and I'm older, those things, I'm mature. So, but when I was in my 20s, college, there was no way, none whatsoever. None. I would have gotten probably kicked out the bike group third or fourth ride.
Well, there's the old adage, right, about how when you're young, the old bull and the young bull, right?
Right.
And the story of the young bull says, let's run down there and smash all them,
Right.
smash all them cows, female cows. And the dad says, no, son, how about we walk down there and smash them all? You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Am I the only one that heard that story?
I've heard the story.
It's a story in there somewhere, right?
I've heard the story.
And all I'm saying is, I feel like now being more mature, I don't feel necessary. Like in high school, college, whatever, you're like, oh my God, you're
Right.
shooting all over the place. As a mature gentleman, I feel great having friends that are just bad and cool and fine and thorough. And I feel great just being friends with them and having them look to me as an equal.
I have friends from college.
I don't mean I don't still look at them and think, damn, the chicks are bad. You two sitting there. Oh, they're bad.
I had female friends in college who were, attractive, and we just wound up being cool. I think, and the thing is, somehow we knew it would never work. Like, I can think of a girl in particular. I mean, she was, gorgeous. Full Ulysses type, everything. And it just never, ever, I can never say, like, I can describe her. People are like, oh, yeah. And it just, nothing ever happened. We just are friends.
But
And
what,
we
though? A
would
lot of
flirt.
times people don't really believe that. Like, I just got to say this, too. At this point, even with SBC, if you hang out around a lot of bad chicks, and I will say a lot of the women that are around our bike crew, friends of mine, are actually very nice looking women. So a lot of times people feel like if you're around good looking chicks, then you must be having sex with one of them. And I'm sure that it's the same is true on the other side, right?
But I'm gonna tell you something. One thing I learned as my mom taught me this. If you ever go somewhere, like, first off, if you ever go out, girl asks you to dance, I always say yes. And my mother said that because the first thing is,
that's right,
women will notice that another woman asks you to dance, and you dance, no matter how she looks.
And then the final thing I would have to say is, in my chapter of the frat, we had a rule that you always had, that all the noobs had to dance with what we call the whack joints.
Yeah,
you had to dance with the whack joints because they nice honeys would be like, oh, they're nice, they dance with everybody. And if you get them whack joints moving and hot, then everybody's going in. Exactly. Yeah, anyway, this is a great segment. We got a lot more to talk about this, and there's some other stories that we can say on this too.
Because we also have to talk about if your girlfriend was allowed to come to the after party in college.
Or to a lot of different things. This is fun. Right. A lot more to talk about with the 811 crew. I think they can be platonic, but there are some conditions.
We'll talk about those when we come back.
811 crew, we are back, and we are talking about relationships between men and women, platonic, etc., friendships. And we had a good conversation about, can men and women be platonic? Is there sexual? Right. We talked about that. But I want to go back. Yeah, but I want to talk about something I asked you about earlier, which is the composition of our friends. I shared in the beginning that I kind of feel some type of way when I see ladies, chicks, whatever, girls who say, oh, my bestie is a dude. Like, automatically, if I see a dude and I know that some chick thinks that that's her best friend, that dude's stock just went down a little bit. I don't know why that is. I'm wondering, is it the same? Like, if dudes say they got a chick that that's their best friend, I mean, shouldn't men?
Because there's,
how does that work?
First of all, there has to be things that you and your male friends talk about.
Right, because we're the same species, right?
And there's things that you and your female friends would talk about. You're going to get different reactions. You're going to approach it differently.
And there's a book about this, right? Like, the men are from Mars, women are from Venus. I didn't read it.
I read parts of it.
Okay, great.
So if you have, I find that kind of odd. Like, how did you all become? So that means you're telling your female best friend about your sexual exploitations. You're telling her, depending how old you are, my thing doesn't work. I mean, like, how much are you getting into? Like, that's not something even at work when women go out for surgery. You don't even ask. No one, even their best friend at work, never even says, "Oh, well, they'll say she's having female surgery." And that's all. You're like, "Oh, okay, that's fine."
Right.
And you just so I would never,
And I know this sounds very, and I'm not. I believe love is love, inclusivity, everything. But when I think automatically, right or wrong, if I hear a woman say, "Oh, this guy is my bestie," I'm thinking it's more than a 50-50 chance that dude is gay. Because I don't know what else we can talk about. Like, I'm thinking the only reason that's your bestie is because you talking about the guys you like and he talking about the guys he like. I mean, what am I missing? Is there something different?
More things.
Am I being closed-minded? I feel like my 17-year-old daughter would be like, once again, Father, you're being closed-minded and you're being an old dude. She wouldn't say that, but that's what she thinks.
It's the way. I think it's more that they can talk. I think you're
just
correct.
more gender fluid. Like, I'm not gender fluid.
You just can't, say it that way. You have to be. You just can't say it that way.
So I shouldn't have said it like that. I mean, but that's the way I said it. I mean, I don't know. That's how I can't say that to who. Who can I say that to?
Like, they're talking more about fashion. They're talking about
fashion.
They're talking about things that.
See, once again, if you're a girl and your bestie is a dude that goes shopping with you, then now I'm at the 70%.
So one of my female friends explained it to me. She said it's like you have a gay best friend, and I don't think they see it as a different he's a male, so he's giving a male perspective, but I think he's giving a softer perspective of the male, and so I think that's what makes it. It's not like they're always talking about sex and so forth.
And there's a lot more to
think
talk
it's
about.
more-
And I don't
yeah.
mean to be, and I'm not saying we know
I
that
think
there's
it's more
it's
what it
more,
is.
we're not
Yeah.
trying to be service. There's so much more to talk about than sex,
Sydney,
right? I mean, we got.
Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yes, but I think what you're getting wrong is you don't think that women talk about sex. We talk about sex
didn't-
probably
we
in
didn't
more
say
deep.
that, yeah.
So I'm just saying. So
Details,
So
get down with
when we're talking, like if I have a couple of like very close male friends
Okay.
that I would consider I
Yeah.
count them in my top 3 best friends.
Okay.
Are they gay and did you smash them?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
But we talk
Just ask.
like I'm like, where were you last night? We talk
Oh yeah,
explicitly
yeah,
about
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh, were we-
yeah.
I mean, I know what y'all do with, sending each other pictures. What's the thing of the day? Oh, it's gonna be this. Let's send
yeah,
send the
yeah,
booty
yeah.
shots.
Okay.
Oh no, let's send a breast shot.
Okay.
So, women.
Yeah, I gotta
talk,
say that I do not share any. I mean, if there were any things like that, like that's my. I'm just one of those people. I'm not sharing my pictures with anybody else. Like that's my media.
It's not even-
whatever
no.
media that is. That's for my viewing
But,
pleasure. But we digress.
But I will say, even internet, Jason's not an internet person you share pictures with either. You're like, no.
Oh, see, now we're getting off topic, man. Let's stay on topic. They're trying to say I take a lot of pictures, but I don't share them. Which
No,
is absolutely
talk about
untrue.
no. Like sometimes your friends send you pictures from the internet, like Insta thoughts. Jason's not an Insta thought. He's not an Insta thought.
Y'all do
crew.
that all day long. I know guys, and you have topics like, what are we gonna look at today?
Today, yeah, he
It's
doesn't-
all
yeah.
the
Serious?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I've never see.
It's
He- he's
Instagram.
so many
That's how
things that
I
I
know
don't
that
know.
women have fake boobs and these butts. Because I'm like, that is not
Like-
natural.
Like right, like see, that's because you never saw Friends.
Yeah, I mean, well,
See, it goes back to
and
that.
you know what? And we're going to talk about that because I decided that this summer I'm going to start watching some of these episodes.
not
So
Friends.
prepare for me to be blown away by some episode that y'all have known about for 15 years. I'm just going to say that.
But we
Yada
also
yada yada yada.
yeah.
I've heard that somewhere.
No soup for you.
I'm gonna find out about that.
But what we have to do is we have to take some of the answers we got from our poll about the platonic friends. So we received the majority were yeses that men and women can be platonic friends.
Wait a minute. Ask me, what was the question again that we're trying to that the
Can-
folks that the poll people are answering?
Can men and women be platonic friends?
Right.
And the majority of the answers were yes. However, we had a very interesting answer that
That's right.
which was, and this gentleman
I
said,
don't know how this worked out,
and,
but-
and this gentleman agreed that they can be friends, and that they are friends, and that they actually had smashed years ago, like in college. And so when this came out, it was 20 years later, and it came.
But how did it come out?
Well, people had been drinking, and they were playing a game.
A drinking game
They were playing a drinking game,
with your wife.
and the wife was
Who
there.
plays drinking games with their
Their wife.
wives? I just don't know. I don't know.
Millennials. So
Sounds like some oversharing.
millennials. But millennials have better relationships. They have much closer relationships with their spouses.
Okay. Radical honesty is what you're saying.
They do. Like if you have friends or millennials that are married, they're doing photo shoots. They have totally different relationships than we have. Like they're together. They do things together.
We're gonna have to bring in some of these millennials that you.
I look at my
talk about. We're gonna
Facebook
have to-
page.
we're
Like
gonna
I
have to bring them in.
actually want to have relationships like them. Like I need to learn how to do that.
And it's true. I do fundamentally believe that as generations, we're getting better, right? I like to think that, and technology, you can say technology, but I do like to think, I fundamentally believe that my kids, that this next generation is standing on our shoulders. So I try to say that with my daughter, too, with my kids, that I'm affected by what I am seeing and feeling as a Generation Xer born in 1969.
Right.
But somebody else, I recognize it for my children and for other generations.
Right.
It's a whole new landscape.
But getting back to our answers, to our responses.
Right.
One of the other responses was yes. However, there still is sexual tension between the people. They just, I guess, what they're saying, they suppress it. So you know, it can be done. I mean,
Yeah.
you've seen that you can see that's been done,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
I said in the earlier, we were talking earlier, with me, I'm always friends with the husband. I'm always friends with the husband,
Yeah.
and
But
I
also
give him
flirting
respect.
is flirt, but that, and you would not flirt with some dude's wife. But I'm
No,
saying, but in
no,
general,
no,
though,
no.
a part of to your point, that sexual tension, a lot of that flirting dynamic. So I definitely can feel like I'm more of a laugh, joke, flirt type thing with my platonic friends, but I don't cross that line. So some people do.
Yeah.
I don't. And I think that's why I've enjoyed great friends. But that's interesting that we found out
Yeah,
on that
yeah,
quote
yeah.
that
That
answer
was-
that most people do believe that you can have platonic
Platonic
friends
friends, you
with men
can,
and women.
you can, yeah.
But I definitely don't think they should be your bestie and go shopping.
Maybe
That's
you
what I have to
guys
say
you
about
guys
that.
can go lunch and have drinks.
I'm gonna stay there. I'm Generation X,
You can have lunch-
1969.
you can have lunch and go
I'm
drinks.
52, and I'm through.
Whatever, dude.
811 crew, we are back.
We're back.
That was a
We're back
great
in black.
conversation about platonic friends and things. And I just feel, just for the record, because this is, I know I'm old school, and because I feel like my daughter, I got to be able to have peace at home.
right.
And I just want to make sure it's all clear that love is love. You love who you want, be who you're going to be.
True.
I'm just being me.
Right.
I'm not, and I just want to make sure I'm clear on the
People should be-
podcast. I'm
people
always
should
going
be
to
able to
say
have
my
their own-
opinion. That's not nobody else's opinion, and I'd like to engage people and understand how people feel differently. But I'm gonna feel the way I'm gonna feel now, and that's just what it is.
Makes sense. I can go along with that.
Very cool.
I mean, I think people are allowed to have your opinion. That's why we're in America. If you if you weren't allowed to have your opinion, you have to be in Russia.
Absolutely, I appreciate it,
yeah.
and that also dovetails into what we're going to be talking about next. I think that this next topic, this next segment we're going to come up, is going to be a real interesting one too. Ulysses, tell them about it.
We're gonna be talking about house rules. So what are house rules?
Right.
House rules are when
Talking to my kids,
when
I'm
you-
talking
when-
to y'all.
When you have a 20-year-old and they come home from college for Christmas break, Thanksgiving, Easter, spring break, and they bring their significant other, do you allow them to sleep in the same room?
No. Anyway, what'd you say? Oh,
Do you allow them to sleep
sorry.
in the same
It's a
room?
poll. You didn't ask me my opinion.
Well, yeah, but so that is our
Answer is
question.
no. I'm sorry.
That is our poll question of the day. However, I will share as my mother and father told me when I was in college, that the only two people who sleep in the same room here are married people.
Right.
So
The people
since
who
I
pay the
wasn't
bills.
and who pay bills, so since I wasn't paying bills and I wasn't married,
You waited till they were asleep and went to the basement. I'm sorry. Was I the only? I never did that, but I know that other people did.
Hashtag truth.
Facts. Lord have mercy.
So
Wow, we tell
or
the truth
either and
here
then
at
when
11
and
Proof.
then when I got older, I was dating a person whose name we don't say, so we would just get a hotel room.
Exactly. That's the thing. Right.
Right, we would just get a hotel
Get a
room.
room.
Yeah, we would get a room, and then and it was like those were my parents' rules, and to me it looks like okay, it does look kind of odd. Like okay, well it's time to go to bed. You just
Right.
close
Like
the
what?
door.
You just go to bed. They're like, good night, mom and
night,
dad. Good night.
guys.
Like you got to go to bed. But then the other thing too is, but there's another side of this, right? There's the side of when our kids are coming in, but there's also the notion of how do we relate to our kids as dating, et cetera, in the house. So the house
Yeah.
rules go both ways.
Which-
I mean, there are many children, I'm sure, never mind, and that's the truth, that will wake up and be with somebody asking, sweetie, how you like your eggs cooked? And you're like, oh, by the way, I'm Janet. I mean, is that
That's
there
what
need
you
to be
do.
rules go both
But
ways, though,
that's
right?
what you do when you're in your home.
'Cause some parents are real progressive.
You're at your home. What you do at your home is one thing. What I do at my home is something else. So you
That's
make a
true.
choice.
That's true.
That's what the choice is.
Some people are a little fast with that, though, bringing people into the crib. I'm definitely more conservative with that. Like, my kids never, in 10 years, never woke up. And I'm not passing judgment. I'm just saying, for me and my house, my kids never woke up with somebody being like, Like going in the kitchen, like, who are you and
you?
what do
Okay.
you like? They never had that, but that's just me.
They had to be out by 3, huh?
4:15.
Like, so wait a minute. This is the question I have. What happened to that dog?
Oh,
you have?
man,
And we
come
now
on.
have your. I mean, I know we should have never had a dog in
We
here.
really should. I mean, that's not
but
right.
but what happened? So did the dog get?
It was used as a water tray. The water tray on, but somehow production converted it to a water tray. It wasn't my dog, so I was fine with it. But instead, though, I must tell you what is replaced is it's a wonderful thing that I picked up over the weekend.
Yeah.
I can't put it on with my thing, but
Right.
this is my hat right here. It looks good when
It's
it's
nice
on.
hat.
It does
It's
look
nice
good.
hat.
And I what I like most about it, because I'm value oriented, I got this at the Banana Republic outlet. It was 50%
wow.
off everything. I got that joint for $15.
Oh wow.
$15.
Okay. Hey, you are
I love value.
You're a fashionista.
I like value. I like
You're
fashion
fashionista.
value. I'm
You're
not like you.
fashionista.
You will spend $500 for a hat. Well, we'll get to that.
No.
No, see.
But what we are going to do, what we're asking our viewers is, hey, if you have artwork or something you would think would look nice here in our podcast
Something
room,
better than my hat.
send it-
Or dog, we don't know.
send it to our social media.
What's our media?
At your DCTV. Once again, that's at your DCTV.
And for y'all young people, that's not your. That's not the internet your. It's YOUR DCTV. Right.
Send a picture.
See, Generation X's, we know how to spell. Y'all
we will
do
put
not.
your artwork, if you have a picture.
Carmen, we know you
Yo,
can't spell.
We're not going to put any other fraternities unless it's a new thing, so let's be clear with that.
We're probably not going to see any more dogs,
There's
but
never going to be any more dogs.
yeah,
That we don't know how that
unless it's a live one. But
Right. I do have a dog.
that's it. Athena, she's wonderful.
Yeah.
Great. Absolutely. We will be back. This is awesome. Great stuff. Let's keep chopping it up.
Yeah,
Y'all stay
thank
with
you.
us. We got a lot more to chop.
Thank you to
Next
our
time.
viewers. Thank you.
811 crew, we out.
We're out of here.
Come on.